Hello, I'm going to show you how to access all of the resources for your English 2 research paper. So first we want to start at mcacubs.com, and then we want to hover our cursor over students and go to current students, and then we want to scroll down just a little bit and we want to go to the MCA library. Here is the library's webpage. We want to hover our cursor over English classes and then click on English 2 Research. So for your paper, right at the top, I have how many sources should I get? So you should try to get at least 2 or 3 articles from the Gale database, which I'll show you how to use in a minute. Try to get at least 1 or 2 things from reference, and then look inside newspapers and magazines and get those interesting things about your disease right now that you might not find other places. You want to try to get at least 2 articles from the websites, which I'll show you in a minute, and then at least 1 thing from a book. So the books you will only be able to use in the library. So if you need a book source, please come to the library and we will help you with that. So let's go back here. Let's start down at the bottom. With the books, like I said, you'll need to come to the library to use the books, but I do have a English 2 book citation help sheet for you. This will help you figure out how to cite either McGill's Medical Guide if you use that one, or if you use infectious diseases in context. Our next source I'm going to talk about are the websites. So you cannot go out on Google and just Google your disease and get whatever websites you want to, because it can be very difficult to find accurate medical information on the internet. So we have 3 pre-selected websites that you can use. You can only use these 3 websites. You can use just one of them, you can use 2 of them, you can use 3 of them. It doesn't matter, but you can only use these particular websites. So I'm going to show you how they work. The first one is the CDC, or the Centers for Disease Control. You can either use the alphabet index, or you can search for your disease. I'm going to search for polio. And I'm just going to click here, what's polio? You might just see your disease name. And notice that I get this page that's got lots of information about polio. It has a description, it has symptoms, and you can click on anything you see on this page. You can click on transmission and prevention, and you can come down here at the bottom and look around. You can come over here on this side and look around. And remember, you need not only the symptoms and how it's transmitted and how you treat it and maybe how you prevent it, but also, why is it important to know about this disease? So maybe something in here about how we eliminated polio might be helpful, or what do you need to do if you're a traveler? So you can also click on one of those and read and get some good information there. So let's say you found something on CDC you really like. There are 3 things you need to do with each article from a website. The first one is that you need to print it, and for the CDC you will always come up here at the top and you'll do file print. If you're printing at home, you'll use your home computer. If you're printing in the library, you'll use Library BW Pool. You also need to copy and paste this URL right here. I'm sorry, I said 3 things. There are 2 things. You also need to copy and paste this URL into a Google Doc, because you need the URL for the citation. So you need to create a Google Doc and just start putting your citation information in it. You do not have to make it your formal works cited. It's just a place to start storing your website information and your other citation information. And you need this URL for the citation. So it's a good habit to get into. You just start storing your citation information in a Google Doc. So just remember, if you find something you like from a website, you come up here and you do file print for the CDC and you copy and paste this URL. But you can use anything that you find on here, anything at all for the CDC. The next one is Medline Plus, and just like CDC, you can use this index or you can search Medline Plus. I'm going to search for polio. And you'll notice you get lots of links, which you can click on any of these links. One thing I do want to draw your attention to is that sometimes you will find CDC articles in Medline Plus. So just be careful that if you got something from CDC already and then you go to Medline, that you're not getting the same thing twice. But let's say that I like this article right here for some reason. Here it is. I can click on whatever I see here. I have a little summary. I have some other things I can click on. Again, the information will start to get repetitive because the symptoms are the symptoms and the treatments are the treatments. So once you get enough on symptoms and treatments and prevention and transmission, start looking for those other things that would make your paper more interesting and explain why it's important to learn about this disease. So maybe what's going on right now in a clinical trial, or how do you live with polio, something like that. So this is Medline. The other one that you can use is called Mayo Clinic. This is what Mayo Clinic looks like. Again, you can use the letters or you can search. I'm just going to search. And again, you've got the symptoms, the causes. So let's say I wanted something on the symptoms and the causes. Here's my article. In Mayo, they do have a little print button that you can click, and it will make it look like this, so nice and pretty, and then you can come up here to file and print. With websites, you have to write your own citations. So remember, every time you use a website, make sure you come up to the top and get that URL and you print it. I have citing help for you. So here's citing help for the CDC. And what I've made for you that'll be really helpful is that the things that are in red are going to stay the same for the CDC no matter what your article is. So you can keep the things that are in red and you change the things that are in black based on your article. And I even tell you that for CDC, most of the articles are titled like diagnosis or treatment. And that doesn't give enough information to your reader, so you'll need to change the CDCs to like Ebola : diagnosis. And then the red stays the same, and then you change it based on the date for your particular article, the URL for your article, and the date you looked at it. So this is how to do a CDC, and I even have pictures. I also have one for Medline. So here's one for Medline. The things in red stay the same. You change the things in black based on your article, and I even have pictures for Medline. And there's one for Mayo as well. Things in red stay the same, things in black change. I have pictures. And if you forget what you need to do with a website, here are the steps. You need to print it and copy and paste that URL. So that's websites. The next thing are the online databases. And the main one you're going to use is Gale Science and Context. So I'm going to just click right here. When you're at home, you need a password. You can, if you don't have the password, you can email one of the librarians or email your English teacher. And one of us will be happy to give you the password. But I'm just going to click right here for science. And I want to scroll down till I get to the science database. Think of this like the mall. You have to go into the correct store, and the correct store is science. So this is what the database looks like. Here I have to sign in with my password. Here it is. So in this case, I'm going to search Ebola. So you search for your disease. And up here at the top, you have the types of sources that are inside the database. Reference is the one you want to look in first, but then after you get what you need from reference, the newspapers and magazine articles will be very helpful. So I'm going to start in reference. So I click here so I can see the reference. And you want to get one or two good starter articles. And what I mean by starter articles, it's just going to have the basic factual information you need. So the Gale Encyclopedia of Medicine and the Gale Encyclopedia of Science are two good articles to get to start. So I'm just going to click on this one. You always click on the name of the article. And here's my article. And notice it's got the who gets the disease. It's got the causes and symptoms, the treatments, the prognosis, meaning what happens when you get the disease or what's the future for the disease, and the prevention. So it's got lots of good stuff. So let's say you like this article. There are 3 things you need to do with this article. You need to print it, which remember I said if you're at the library, you print to the library BW pool. If you're at home, you print to your home computer. Then you send it. You send it to your Google Drive by clicking like this, and it'll go to your Google Drive. And now I'm going to show you what it looks like in the drive. So what will happen is Gale will create a folder called Science and Context. and it will put all of your articles in here. So that's where you can look for it. And then the last thing you need to do is get the citation. So the citation is down at the bottom. I'm going to come all the way down to the bottom, copy and paste this citation and put it into that Google Doc we talked about before, where you're saving your citation information. And this one you already have the citation for. So that's extremely helpful. And like I said in the beginning, get at least 2 or 3 good things from Gale. So if you have, you can get more, but here's my references. Now, let's say I was looking for things that weren't the symptoms and the treatments and the prevention, things like that. Well, I'm looking in newspapers, and this might be something really good. Like the Ebola outbreak is moving into a new phase. This has, right now it's going on in August. And so this might have some really good information for me that I can put into my paper. And you do the same things with the articles, but the newspapers might have some really good things about what's going on right now with your disease. So if you need any help with the databases, just come up to the library. We'll be happy to help you. I even have a thing here. What do you need to do with each database? You need to print it. You need to send it to your Google Drive and copy and paste the citation. But if you need help with any of your research, just come see us. We'll be happy to help you. Thank you.